That's too sexy. You can't do this to me.
Mm. I got kicked out of the office because my wife had to work.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. This is what I do usually when I take classes. I can't see your face.
Uh, I'm in a different window.
What? There's no camera. All I see is nothing.
I see my face. What's happening?
Yeah, it says your
Oh
camera's off.
Oh, oh no! Did Dad unplug it?
Start the video.
Oh no! Where is it? Well, I thought everything was fine.
Oh, this is going so well already.
Wait. Oh. Okay.
Did you just forget the camera?
No, it's because Dad used my computer earlier for class. Okay. I'm a sweat mess. This room is on fire, but my fan is too loud.
This room is also on fire, and my fan is also too loud. So it's like, which one was it we recorded that we were just like,
I think
it was the one with the movies with kids. We were like dying because it was just so hot that night.
yeah, it was so, and it's not quite that hot, but
It's
my
going
nightmare
good.
made me a little warmer a few minutes ago. And also one more thing. I want to start calling all Links Zeldas just to mess with people now. That is so brilliant.
Can you send me the Zelda?
Yeah, I see Zelda, please.
People can get so confused. Welcome to the Party Pal. This is a podcast by us, the Loomer Brothers. I'm Preston Loomer.
I'm Nathan Loomer.
And then we talk about movies. And for this episode, because it is our 21st episode, we picked things you can't do until you're 21 legally. Or in some states, still illegally. So we each picked one movie that was about drinking, one movie that was about stoners, and one movie that was about gambling.
Yes.
Because those are all three things you can't do until you're 21.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know what order we're going to do this in.
I don't know how. I think the order that we should go in is like, which movie is the worst to best one to watch while intoxicated.
Gosh. I was gonna do which movie is which one of these did you do first?
Oh yeah, we could do that.
But if you want to just do best to worst, that's
No, we could do the order we did them in, and just compare them. Yeah. So let's get this started and make our parents ashamed of all the stuff that we've done.
oh,
Yay! So we both like I said, we each picked one from each category. So for mine, I picked, what the heck did I pick? I picked Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yep.
I picked Rounders, and I picked The World's End.
okay. And I picked where is it? Dazed and Confused, The Hangover, and Guys and Dolls.
Mm-hmm. Because no matter what the category, Nate finds a way to make a musical out of it.
Hey, the biggest gamble of all, women.
I'm gonna be like silent films one time, and you're gonna be like, bam, musical. I don't know
Oh, no.
how I did it.
Oh my gosh. I will find a way.
It's just gonna be that way. So for me, the first thing I ever did was gambling.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was a goody two shoes. You're welcome, Mom.
You're welcome. I mean, I count loot crates as gambling. I did a lot of those.
I mean, it wasn't anything serious. It was like, you bring $10 to a party, and
Right.
at the end of the night, you have 10 fewer bucks.
Oh, I forgot they did that for like the senior high school thing. Like you go and gamble and then win a prize at the end.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
I want a mini fridge.
That's right. Oh, dang, it's not here anymore.
No, the mini fridge
Oh,
that lasted for so long.
it did with that one can of Dr. Not
Thunder.
Pepper, Dr. Thunder.
The tiny Dr. Thunder.
That I think we threw it away because I was scared it was gonna explode.
Oh, it looked terrifying, and I was just never gonna open it. That was my goal. I wanted to see. We were talking because we wanted to see if you leave the can in something, how long it would take for the can to just like evaporate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would the can eventually just be a can of air,
Oh no.
or does it just hold on to it forever? So
It looked like the pepper was trying to get out of the can. Or thunder. I mean.
The thunder was coming out.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So do you wanna do? Okay. So we have Guys and Dolls and Rounders. Those are our gambling
Yeah.
movies. Which one do you think is more?
I'll start with Guys and Dolls. It's
Let's do it. Guys and Dolls is the classic American musical, and this version's interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's the one. This is the one in the 50s. It's got Sinatra, Marlon Brando, Gene Simmons. Not that Gene Simmons.
Yeah, different. I know. I looked that up.
The other Gene Simmons.
Vivian something.
I don't remember who played Adelaide. Gosh, no, this is bad. How do we forget Adelaide's name?
Vivian Blaine.
Vivian Blaine, that's the one. Yep. If you've never seen the show or the movie, it's essentially about a group of guys led by a guy named Nathan Detroit who runs an underground craps game. That is illegal, and he's trying to find a place to do it. And in order to do it, he bets Sky Masterson, who's Brando's character, for a bunch of money. And essentially, Sky Masterson has to take this. She's not a nun. She's like a church missionary. I don't know how to describe it. She works at some Christian mission. He has to take her to Havana on a date. And hijinks ensue.
Yeah.
People get threatening. And I should also state that Detroit's fiance of 14 years, Miss Adelaide, who is like a burlesque dancer, wants him to give up the crap game so they can get married. So there's all this stuff.
I never thought about how hard this is to explain.
It's a real weird musical to explain. And they're based on a bunch of books by a guy named Damon Runyon. And the books are so dark. I don't know how they made this show out of them. They're talking because when I was in it, I've been in it twice. Yeah. And we had to learn the characters for everything. So we got to like read excerpts from the book, and like some of them, like the stuff that they call them, those like because there's guys like Harry the Horse and Big Julie and Angie the Ox,
yeah,
and they all have these weird nicknames, but all those nicknames are basically how they killed people.
Oh,
like I played Brandy Bottle Bates, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's the drunk," and I was like, "You read the thing, it's like, no, he got that name because he stabbed a dude with half a brandy bottle."
Oh my god!
And that's what happened. So they said, "Yeah, that's a great way to make a colorful, fun, flashy musical with feel good."
Holy crap!
Yeah.
We got to talk about the elephant in the room, Marlon Brando, in this movie.
So I read Brando's biography a while back, and I have some very fun facts about Brando in this movie. One, Brando's fantastic when he doesn't have to sing. When he doesn't have to sing, he's great.
Wonderful actor.
What I learned is that Brando is absolutely tone deaf. And everything you hear him sing, it sounds fine. Like, it's no way. It's weird that you cast Sinatra in a role. I'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Brando said in his biography, he did like probably 90 takes of each of the songs. And they like note by note had to stitch the edit together.
Oh my god.
So what you're hearing is like individual notes and him trying to... So, and the ones that you can tell, the ones where they were like, we'll just fudge it, because you can hear him like, luck be a lady tonight. It's like, there's no way. No, so, but then you cast Sinatra as Nathan Detroit, and Nathan Detroit, the guy who played him in the original Broadway production, was not a singer. And they literally like cut songs out. And if you actually look at the only song he sings fully as his own is the one with Adelaide at Sumi at the end. Mm-hmm. It's about an octave in terms of total vocal range, because that was all that the guy could do.
Oh my!
They wrote it just for this guy who couldn't sing much. But then you give it to a guy like Sinatra, and he sounds way too good.
The guy that I when I think of Sinatra, like "Luck Be a Lady" is the first song I think about him singing. And he doesn't sing it.
He doesn't sing it. And I have to imagine, I mean, I didn't do a whole lot of research, but I have to imagine he was pissed.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like, you're like, oh, you're going to get, Brando. Sure, he's Marlon Brando, whatever. Like, yeah, he's got an Oscar. Yeah, he's a big-time movie star.
Oh, gosh.
No, Brando, first off, if you ever read Brando's autobiography, dude's an a-hole. Dude, dude's a jerk. He's so rude. Like, and he admits it, but the acting scenes though, because Brando, like, for all personality wise and his musical ability, he is Marlon Brando.
He's just great.
Yeah.
You throw him in anything.
He outacts everybody in the movie, like hands down.
Yeah. And I know that's not like the biggest deal because I've seen Frank Sinatra because of our podcast. I've seen him two things, and I've always seen some others. He's never the highlight of anything he's
No,
in.
he's just Frank Sinatra.
So, he's just Frank
When
Sinatra.
he sings, I mean, well, no, even he wasn't even the best singer in Ocean's 11.
Yeah, I have to say. Oh,
Oh, he's gonna hate. Oh, Frank, you're gonna hate us.
he's rolling. He's just rolling right now.
He's rolling in the grave. Like,
God.
those guys are dissing on me again.
Sorry, I just love Sammy Davis Jr. I don't know what. I don't know.
Sammy Davis Jr. would have been a good Nathan Detroit.
I really think he would have. Oh.
Speaking of fun casting things, I want a production of this. If I ever get to like direct a production of this, I'm gonna cast Big Julie as the smallest guy in the group
Yeah.
because he's always huge. And I know that's the bit, but I just think it'd be so funny if they're like Big Julie, and then this little tiny guy comes out. He's still like the most threatening dude.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be amazing. And I looked up the director of this. I didn't know this guy had won so much.
Mm-hmm.
He has like 9 nominations and 4 wins for Best Picture.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. Go concept. He was all about Eve. Like that's.
Ooh.
I think that set the record that hasn't been broken for most Oscar wins.
Okay.
It's been tied twice, but it hasn't been. No movie's been able to outdo the 11 that it won.
That's crazy.
But I think Guys and Dolls is an S tier musical. Like,
Yeah.
if I was to list the best, not like necessarily my favorite, but like just the ones that I'm like, this one's almost perfect.
It's S, but I know it's a lower S for me because it still has some cheesy moments that I don't super love. But there's not really. It's one of those musicals I say you can't really screw it up, and it's nice that you can do it literally anywhere at any time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the characters are like non-specific. There's nothing about them that you couldn't cast it in different genders or races or any of that stuff. Like it all fits. But it also has. I mean, and I will say this: Adelaide. If you're gonna talk about female characters in a musical, she's probably like one of the top 5. She's probably one of the 5 best roles in musical theater for women.
So good. And Sarah Brown's fine.
Sarah Brown's fine. No, but Sarah Brown's the boring part. She's the ingenue. Mm-hmm. Adelaide's like the fun one.
Yeah.
And I like that this movie. I like that they cast an older gal, like someone who's closer to middle age, because I've seen it 3 or 4 times where Adelaide is like 20, and I was like, when did they get engaged? When she was 6? Like, what is this?
Oh.
I was in it with an Adelaide who was younger than me, and I was 25 when we did it. Like, it was, yeah. So,
good.
That, and I think that I would say, Luck Be a Lady, Sit Down, You Rock in the Boat, Adelaide's Lament, like all those are among my favorite musical theater songs.
Yeah, the only one I don't like is the duet between the girls, and that's not. It's just gonna. I haven't seen people do it super well, and I don't know.
I saw it done pretty well.
Actually, I liked it in your guys' production. It's probably the best I've seen it.
Yeah, the second one that we did was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And this one adds some songs, like they give Sinatra a song that doesn't exist in the stage show, and they cut a couple of other songs that are mostly superfluous because you don't need Arvide being like, "Buck up, kid." Movie's already 2.5 hours long.
Yeah. Oh, but it's good.
It's good. I would say though, it also feels like if you look at every interior set, it looks like they had one set that they just kept repainting because they didn't have anywhere else to go because all the windows look the same in each building.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's just how these movies went back then. I'm sure it was all a sound stage for a lot of it.
Yeah. No, and I think, but for the 50s and for a musical and for the cheesiness that it's supposed to have, like it actually works really well.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And I think that, like, if you're gonna watch a movie about craps players, this one's not bad. And it also actually, I mean, the craps scene, like, it doesn't quite show you how to play, but you can get a sense of it.
Nobody knows how to play that game. Nobody has. Okay,
I know how to play. We had to learn. I had to learn because I was in it. We all had to know what each thing meant because it's true. Like what they're saying, essentially. This is not a craps podcast. Essentially, it's. You roll a pair of dice, and you're trying not to get certain numbers and trying to get other numbers, and then those numbers change depending on what you roll.
Yeah.
And other people are betting on whether or not you're going to succeed or fail. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
That's very loose. Like it's much more complicated than
that's
that.
all
but-
it is. That's all it is. Good.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
all right.
So we can move on to a movie that I've never heard of before this, and I'm so surprised.
Rounders stars Matt Damon, Ed Norton, John Malkovich, and John Turturro.
Yeah,
Is it Turturro or I never know how to say his last name.
I just
The Jesus from the Big Lebowski.
Yes. Pardon think. I don't know.
God, I want to see that. I need to see that one where the sequel where he's the Jesus again.
Yeah. So good.
It's about a bunch of card sharks, guys who play poker kind of professionally. A couple of them, they hustle. Basically, they make their living playing cards. That's how they do. They go to poker games, and they play cards and they win money. And then Matt Damon's trying to get out, but they're dragging him back.
Just keep dragging him back.
And Ed Norton's kind of his counterpart. He's kind of the asshole. Like, this is his only good thing in his life is playing cards.
Yeah.
I thought I'd seen this movie. I had only seen the John Malkovich scenes, and I don't know how I only watched them because they're like the first 10 and last 10 minutes of the movie. I don't know how I only saw. I thought those two scenes were one scene.
I don't know what it is about John Malkovich, but even when he's trying to be intimidating or anything, I just find it funny. There's something in him that makes me laugh, and I don't know what it is. I love John Malkovich.
He talks like he's got a perpetual ulcer, and he's trying not to let it on. He's like, I got it. It's in my. Oh my God! I'm going.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why Spike Jonze made being John Malkovich, because he's the only kind of person who could fit that weirdness.
Who is he? Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I love this though. I never knew I needed Matt Damon and John Malkovich in the same room. I didn't.
You never knew that. Okay, I gotta say this is very funny. I didn't mean to do this. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. We're not there yet, but they make fun of all those Miramax movies that Matt Damon was in the 90s. Yeah. And then I picked a Miramax movie starring Matt Damon. I was like, how did they pull this off? I didn't mean to do this.
That is amazing.
Yeah. No, and the supporting cast is pretty good overall. There's got a bunch of people that I couldn't tell you their names if I asked. Martin Landau is in it. Famke Janssen, who I'm not a big fan of, but people like her from stuff.
What's the girl name?
The one from X-Men.
Is that Gretchen? Which one? No.
The one from You're talking about the gal.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's the one who played Jean Grey. It's Famke.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I think it's how you say that. I don't actually know.
Yeah. I know. It had really great acting moments. Some of the movie I got a little bored. There's probably one
Mm-hmm.
I slept a little bit, but I still found it really interesting.
I slept a little bit. There's a solid stretch where it's kind of dull, but I mean Edward Norton, that dude needs to I know he's been in stuff.
He's so hard to work with too. As another guy, I think that holds him back from being in great movies.
Yeah, because man, he's so good when he's on. He's so on.
He's gonna be in Knives Out too.
He's gonna be in Knives Out too. That cast
how that goes.
That cast looks so good so far.
Oh my gosh.
It was really funny. I kept showing my wife that every casting announcement for it, and she's like, after Batista and Ed Norton, she was like, okay, a woman maybe. And then Catherine Hahn got cast the next day, and I was like, there. Yeah. They went with the best one.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be so good. Not to get off of this.
This one's actually a very interesting contrast to Guys and Dolls, though, because it's not about the fun part of gambling. It's actually about how it destroys your life.
There's nothing. It tells you not to gamble,
but then it tells you to gamble. At the end, it's all this whole thing of gambling's bad, gambling's bad, gambling's bad. But I'm gonna keep gambling because I actually did pretty well.
As long as you win, you can gamble. That's where we get to.
As long as you have $1, you can get somebody to play cards with you. And they do a lot of different card games, which I think is fun. I don't think you learn any of the rules to most of them. Because most poker games, now, it's either blackjack or hold'em.
Yeah,
so to hear them doing stud and draw and all those other poker games. I think one guy was playing hearts for money at one point.
Yeah. So I don't even know how you would do.
You just play for points. It's like you have to,
okay.
That one's, I think, less of a betting game and more of a just you put all the money in and the last guy standing gets it.
Yeah.
Kind of a game. Maybe. I don't know.
what's the name of and Martin
Landau,
Landau.
yeah.
I love him. I'm glad he popped up. He's one of my favorites.
Hmm.
Underrated actors.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, he's fantastic in this. The only problem I had, I don't know what it was about my TV. I couldn't hear him the whole
Oh
movie.
yeah.
Everything he said was like about right here. And I was like, why are you whispering, Martin? You're 40 feet from a person. He can't hear you. I
Oh
can't
God,
hear you.
it's like that scene in Shazam. What? I can't hear you. You're all over there.
I love that movie.
That's the best part.
I love that movie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I think it's good. I think you'll if anyone knows a person who's way too into something, you're gonna identify with Ed Norton's character real fast.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is a guy. You go to a comic book convention. This is a guy who's like talking like he belongs there, and you realize that like that's all this dude does in his day is talk about like poker.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I've known those people who like you're like, hey, you want to get a soda? Yeah, you know what sodas are really good? There's a sodas in this video game that I played, and you're like, oh, how did I don't know how you
That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know how you took that where you needed to take it. No, but I think Rounders is underrated. I think people
Verity.
I think there are better movies. I don't think it's
Yeah.
like the best movie I've ever seen, but like I think that I was surprised that you hadn't heard of it, and that like it was one that I thought I'd seen.
It's a better. I would say there's not. There's no. I couldn't think of a movie that actually shows good gambling. This one does a pretty good job, but
Yeah.
I can't. As far as gambling movies go, no movie really gets into it.
There's a couple, but they're really like they're not the fun ones.
Yeah.
21 does a good job because they
21,
really explain blackjack, and then Rain Man gets into it a little.
Right.
And Casino Royale of all movies
Oh yeah.
has a really like that half
That's
that movie
right.
is just intense gambling,
Oh gosh.
intense hold'em. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So like they're out there, but they're
Out there.
not.
They're
They
not.
Poker's such a weird thing in movies because it's either like a fun casual like atmosphere or it's like so intense.
That's all it is. No, it's one or the other. I really.
And it's
that's what I
because
think
it's
about
not really about it's not a game about like it's not gambling in the sense of like chance. It's about reading people
Yeah.
and knowing how to convince people that you have a better chance at winning than they do, even when you definitely don't.
Man, now I really just want to make a poker movie that is just about poker. There's no, there's no plot. Just guys trying to win money.
That's called the World Series of Poker. You just watch the poker
I
game on
know,
TV.
But I want to script it.
You want it scripted. I'm gonna go watch the tournament and I'm gonna transcribe it and write it as a script and send it to you. And I'll be like, here's your
Make this-
movie.
That's it. Oh, great. Oh my goodness.
There you go. Yeah, but those are the gambling movies. They're both pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, really bad bunch. And then we
All
get
right.
into, I guess, drinking.
Drunk
I hope-
movies. Let's see. We'll start with mine this time because we started with yours last time.
Okay.
I picked The World's End because it's the best movie about drinking.
It is. It is. There's nothing even close.
I love this movie. This is Edgar Wright's third Cornetto trilogy. It's the one nobody knows because they all know Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. Everybody seems to think this is the bad one, but I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's about 5 guys in their mid probably 40s go back
Yeah.
to their college town to do a drinking contest where they basically go to 12 bars and have a pint at each of them. And then there's a weird twist where the town is not what they thought it was.
Oh my god.
It gets nuts.
I don't know how we're gonna talk about because I really don't want to spoil.
We don't have to spoil it. Yeah, there's like
That
okay.
is-
Let's say this is a sci-fi action film.
Yeah.
To just say that's all I'll say about it. Like there's a weird twist about a third of the way through the movie.
And I know when we first saw it, we didn't even know there was a twist, which made it that much better.
Yeah, I bought this on a whim. I was like, I love these guys. Let's just watch it, whatever. And then I was like, this is the best movie.
Yeah.
Here's a cool fun fact, though, extra I learned. If you listen to the the little prologue, it tells you the plot of the movie.
That's right.
Yeah,
I
because
remember.
everything that happens in that prologue happens again the second
I remember.
time, but in a different way.
Yeah.
And I like that they did the old twist where Simon Pegg is like the burnout and Nick Frost is like the guy with a steady job.
Yeah.
Because it's usually the other way around.
Um, Based on just the three Edgar Wright movies alone, Simon Pegg is one of the most underrated actors. He's good in all three roles, and they're all so distinct from each other.
Yeah, they're so different.
Oh man.
And it's freaking. I mean, I haven't seen anything he's done that he's been bad in.
No, nothing. So.
He was like the best part of Ready Player One, which is not saying much, but he was.
I was probably the one person who didn't have high hopes going into it, and I still was let down watching that movie.
Here's what I did. I watched it with no expectations, and then I read the book afterwards. It's fine.
It's okay.
It's fine. And all the stuff about they couldn't get the rights to half the characters from the book, so they had to change them.
Yeah.
All that fun stuff. This movie has like 3 drinking montages, which is fantastic.
Yep.
And I like that this one, the drinking is literally the plot of the movie. Like,
yeah,
there is no movie without these guys trying to get drunk.
Because that's the whole goal.
Yeah.
Despite the millions of problems they run into, they just gotta keep drinking.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I love one of the characters that says WTF instead of what the fuck, and then at one point, the best line in the whole movie, Simon Pegg just turns and goes, "What the fuck does WTF mean?"
Oh my gosh.
It cracks me up every time. I think of all the ones we watched, this is the one that made me laughing the hardest. Maybe this or maybe the Hangover. It was pretty close between those two.
Man, my debate. I still think Hot Fuzz is a better movie, but I enjoyed this one just because.
I think Hot Fuzz is the best of the trilogy, but I think it's it's like 1, 2, 3. Like they're really close together.
Yeah.
This is one of those ones that I think, we talk about trilogies that are just good across the board. And it's not like a traditional trilogy. They're called the Cornetto trilogy because they're the same cast and they're kind of connected. But really, they're just 3 separate movies. You don't have to watch them in an order. You don't have to know anything about the other ones.
I've seen this movie probably 6 times now. I never remember Pierce Brosnan being in it.
I forgot he was in it too.
I don't know what that is. Like, oh yeah, that's right.
And he's not in it that much. That's probably why. He's only in like a scene.
Yeah, that's true.
I forgot he was in this. I forgot Rosamund Pike was in this.
Yeah, what's the name? David Bradley.
David Bradley from Game of Thrones and Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And Bill Nye is the voice of the thing.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I've never known that.
Bill Nye. Yeah, Davy Jones.
Oh my god.
Himself.
Oh my god.
That British guy in all those British movies.
Oh, I hear it now. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
So weird.
The only thing that makes me sad is watching this and going, this was right before Edgar Wright was supposed to make Ant-Man, and it just watching the action scenes in this, I'm like, it would have been so good.
Oh my gosh.
Like, the Edgar Wright Ant-Man that we'll never get, it would have been so good.
It's a bummer because Ant-Man is I call it one of the lesser DC movies.
Well, it's a Marvel movie, so it's not a DC
sorry,
movie.
Marvel movie. Despite my love of Paul Rudd, it's just a really flat.
The Ant-Man duo is the okayest duo in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes.
They're fine.
They're fine.
Every time I watch them, I go, that was fun, and then I don't remember it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd's the best part. Yeah, and I also forgot that Martin Freeman was in this.
I don't forget that. I love him.
Yeah, no, there's so many good people, so many good moments, and if I say any more than that, I'm gonna spoil half the movie. So
yeah, this out of all the movies we talk about today, this is the one I want you to see the most.
This one is worth a watch, and it's really funny. It's really funny.
Really funny. Speaking of really funny,
oh yeah,
we're going to what I consider one of the best comedies of the 2000s so far.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The Hangover came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I was not ready for how funny this movie was. And I think this is one of the first R-rated comedies that we both watched like on our own.
Yep, I think so.
And I just remember being like, "Oh my gosh, what is this?"
This movie surprises me because two of the lead actors, well, you don't see much of Justin Bartha,
Yeah,
Allen, or Doug, because he's gone most of the movie, which
yeah.
is good because I've never super loved him and stuff.
He's fine a
But
National Treasure.
he is fine. I
He's
forgot
fine
he
a
was in
National
that.
Treasure. That's it.
But also, I don't know. I'm not the biggest. Oh my god, my computer. Whoa, Ed Helm fan. He's really hit or miss for me. He's so hit in this movie for me, though. He's perfect for this part.
Ed Helms needs an energy. It's an energy thing.
Yeah.
I don't think Ed Helms can be the lead, if that
No.
makes sense. He's not one of the like. It's the same when they tried to make him kind of the main character in The Office. It just it tanked his humor.
National or the reboot of Vacation.
I didn't see it.
It was awful.
I decided,
gosh.
No, but Ed Helms is so on in this, and he's just got that balance of like he's trying to be the reasonable one, but he's also the one with the least spine, so he has no control.
Yes. And this might be it. I mean, I love Bradley Cooper. I could name like 5 movies that I love, but this feels like who he is in real life.
I hope he's not like that in real life. That dude's an asshole.
I know, but I'm saying he just looks like I don't know. He never seems like he's acting to me in this movie. He's just going.
No, here's the thing. I've seen enough interviews with Bradley Cooper. He's nothing like this in real life. Like he's the most. He's a down to earth but he's also really serious about like what he does.
Yeah,
and Phil is definitely not. But both of those guys get upstaged by Zach Galifianakis, who I had not seen until this movie. And I mean, he's been around and like was doing stuff, but I was like, who is this dude? And whoa, he is so funny.
So funny.
And I always, when I watch comedies like this, I always go, how much of this do you think they improv? Like, how many of these lines came up on the spot? Because it feels that natural, like them just kind of goofing.
Yeah.
And stuff comes out.
If you watch, I've seen all 3 Hangover movies now. That was a while ago. Don't ever watch the other 2. You don't need them.
I as soon as I heard the second one was basically the first one but worse, I was like, nah.
And then the third one's just awful.
Yeah. This is the problem, is you make a good movie and then it makes a bunch of money and everybody wants sequels, and it's like, no, just stop.
Yeah.
Just let it be.
This is the #1 movie for actor or famous people playing themselves. Mike Tyson is so perfect for Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson is spot on Mike Tyson. He gets him. He just knows the character.
He understands who he is.
And he cannot sing. And it's the best.
When people come on and play themselves in movies like sports people, and then they feel like they're trying to act, Mike Tyson's just being Mike Tyson.
Okay, have you seen Trainwreck though?
I have not seen Trainwreck.
Okay, LeBron in Trainwreck is probably one of the best. I was surprised how much I liked him in that movie.
Yeah.
If you talk about athletes and Michael Jordan in Space Jam. It's just...
Oh, yeah, you know what? Actually, we have a winner. Michael Jordan in Space Jam.
No, Michael Jordan's so bad in Space Jam, but I just love it because it's just ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but then, did you know that the director of this is the guy who did Joker?
I forgot. And they didn't get... Oh, I should have got his first award for this.
He did Starsky and Hutch, this, I think Old
God.
School.
Okay.
He's done a whole bunch of these.
I love Starsky and Hutch. I know so many people hate that movie, and I love that movie. So that makes me so happy.
It's underrated too.
Ken?
Dr. Ken Jeong.
Mr. Chow, I think, in this.
Yeah. Dr. Ken Jeong.
This is also the first time I saw him in anything. This is before Community.
This was his second movie, I think. I think he did Knocked Up as a doctor before that.
I didn't see that, so this is my first time.
Yeah.
And he is my favorite part of the movie because of the jumping out of the car.
Jumping out of the trunk. Just the way he talks. He's Ken Jeong, and it's so funny that he's an actual licensed medical doctor.
Yeah.
That dude went to med school. And how do we know him? He's the naked Asian guy who jumps out of the trunk of a car in The Hangover.
Oh my gosh. It's either that or you know him as the host of The Masked Singer. That'd be really.
He's not a host. He's the judge. He's like
Judge.
the crappy
That's
judge
right.
on The
Right.
Masked Singer.
Singer.
Nick Cannon was. I don't know if Nick Cannon's still the host.
I don't think he is.
Okay, I don't know. I haven't watched the
Yeah.
last season of it.
What?
The, the thing too is like, it's actually really well told. Like, it's just a great job of, okay, so essentially the movie is guys in Vegas at a bachelor party 2 days before Doug is getting married.
Mm-hmm.
You see them do a shot
Go. Yeah.
and then black out to the next morning. And it's like that scene alone, they don't say a word for probably a good minute and a half. And there's so much visual storytelling of like, you're just like, oh my God, what happened to these dudes last night? And then they find Doug missing. And the rest of the movie, them trying to like repace because they can't remember anything because they were so gone. So they're trying to put back together the night before that happened. And they can't figure it out.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, they've got like a running clock because Doug has to get back for his wedding in like a day and a half.
And oh my gosh. And I thought this movie was like 2.5 hours. It's only an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Even though so much stuff happens that I remember. So
yeah,
that's good.
It's super good.
Watch.
And I think one, it could hold up. I mean, it's a little 2009. Like some of the jokes, I'm like, that's a little harsh.
That's a little bit.
It doesn't work so well anymore. I also love that they have that guy. That one, there's this dude, and I don't know his name. He's the wedding singer at the end. He's been in like 4 things as the inappropriate wedding singer.
I need to figure out who he is because that's I believe that's his entire job in Hollywood is to be that wedding singer.
He shows up, and then I read he was he was in Starsky and Hutch, but he was a bar mitzvah singer. But he did the same bit.
Yeah, the same thing. And Jeffrey Tambor alert. Jeffrey
Tambor's and everything, guys.
And everything. He was in all these movies somewhere. I just happened to find him in this one.
And Dad's the only one who's going to get that joke.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, we had a weekend when we were kids where we rented like 6 movies from a Blockbuster, and they all had Jeffrey Tambor in them. And we didn't mean to do it. It just happened. So we have this joke that Jeffrey Tambor's just in everything. Even if he's not in it, he's definitely in it.
He's in it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny. It's really funny.
Should we get to next two? I look like a dying animal on my hook.
I am so, but the only reason mine is because my camera's so crappy. You can't see all the sweat, and this black shirt is hiding. Like I'm pitting out hard.
Oh my gosh.
All right, let's just bust the next two. These are the stoner movies.
Yeah, I've never been high, as far as Mom knows. I'm kidding. She knows. God dang it.
Mom's been high. She.
Dang, you let the whole word know.
That was the best conversation I ever had with her. Was her trying to apologize for something she did in college? I was like, I didn't exist.
Oh
didn't
my
hurt
God.
me none.
Or maybe it did. Maybe there's side effects.
All right, I'm gonna put the foot down, and it's gonna be weird. I don't like Dazed and Confused. I've seen it 3 times. I don't like it.
I thought I liked it more. I'm glad we agree on this. The first time I saw it, I thought I liked it. I don't know if I was high or.
Well, and here's the thing. With the exception of School of Rock, everything I've seen from Richard Linklater just has this like pretentious air of, I'm an artiste, I'm an auteur of cinema, and it's like, I was like, one, none of these characters are likable except for I think Tony and Mike were the only 2 characters in the whole movie that I was like, go Tony and Mike, you guys are pretty cool. Yeah. I wish they'd ended up together and not with women, but that's just. That's just me. But I will say that this movie has an insane cast.
Yeah.
Like, the people that are in this movie, and they all are in it pre-fame.
Yeah.
You have Affleck, you have Mila Jovovich, you have Matthew McConaughey, Parker Posey, Joey Lauren Adams from Chasing Amy. Anthony Rapp, who was on Broadway and Rent.
Which was so weird. I forgot he was in. I didn't even know if I noticed he was in this before.
Yeah, and then a whole bunch of other like character actors who I don't know the names of, but they're in it. And essentially the whole movie is just a bunch of high school kids like the day after school gets out in the 70s.
All it is, and it's literally a ripoff of one of my favorite movies of all time. Just watch American Graffiti. It's the same exact movie, but better.
I was like,
worse.
I didn't make the American Graffiti connection, but I was like, this seems like Animal House, but trying to be serious. Like,
Yeah,
it seems
there's
like a
that too.
national. It seems like a National Lampoon movie, but they cut all the jokes out.
Yeah,
And you know why those movies work? Because they're funny.
because they're funny.
It's not because they have a good storyline.
I still like Matthew McConaughey in this, though. Although he will be typecast for the next 10 years because of this one
Because
film.
of this one role. I think this was his first thing too.
I think so, yeah.
Like, I think it was one of those like happenstance finds. I think he was just like around, and Linklater was like, "Hey, just come like do this bit."
Yeah, first full length movie.
Yeah. All right, all right, all right.
It's just maybe that's why I like him. Maybe because he just showed up on set and was like,
He's just being himself. Like, I've seen him in interviews. This is just how he is.
Who
He
he
seems
is.
stoned half the time.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and like the plot of this movie, about halfway through, I was like, what are they trying to tell? Like, what is the story they're trying to
There's
send
nothing.
us?
There's literally nothing like going. There's no A to B here.
And from what I've heard, it's basically loosely based on a bunch of actual things that happened around to and around Richard Linklater when he was in high school, because he's around the age where he would have been a high
Yeah.
schooler at that time.
He likes to pretend he was cool enough to just happen to.
I saw one
Sorry.
review that was just Linklater gets it, man, and I was like,
No.
what? I don't understand.
Man, Boyhood is like in my least favorite movies of all time.
And everybody
He does
still
not get
everybody
it.
still says that movie was better than Birdman, and I'm like, nah.
It's the most boring film I've ever watched, I swear.
The only thing that made it interesting was the way that they shot it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
the 12-year shoot was the only thing that made that movie even remotely like noticeable. Otherwise, it was just kind of a forgettable coming of age story.
Yeah, because it felt like, oh god, I don't want to go. Nah, I'm not gonna talk about it. We'll talk about it someday. Well,
Talk about movies that definitely didn't need Oscars at some
didn't need
point.
Oscars. Should not have even been nominated. I
We'll do
love
like
that.
an overrated movies at some point.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But Dazed and Confused has that same feel. It has this feel of like there's something deeper. But I watched it, and maybe, and this is the secret, I've only ever watched it completely sober.
Yeah.
So maybe I need to get stoned and watch this
Well,
movie, and
I'll
it'll be
let
like
you-
deep.
Drinking does not work with this movie. It just feel longer.
No, because that's the thing. When you drink it, you like want like fast paced, goofy stuff, and you
Yeah.
don't want like deep conversations about life, man.
Long conversation.
Yeah, like the difference is that being stoned like turns it into this sort of like really deep existential thing.
Oh my gosh.
I figured out like the first time I ever got stoned, suddenly every stoner I'd ever known made total sense
It
to
makes
me.
total sense.
I was like, oh yeah, that's
Oh
why.
my God.
That's why my roommates came in back and like just telling us what we were doing, like it was just like life changing.
Oh my gosh. And that's why the next movie does work.
Yes.
Oh
So
my
here's
gosh.
the last movie on our list, which I changed last minute because of some stuff that happened behind the scenes in a different movie that I had picked.
Yeah.
We won't get into it. Was Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back by Kevin Smith, which I then was like, I was like, yes, first Kevin Smith, and I remember we started with Mallrats.
Started with Mallrats. Kevin Smith, I know it's not for everybody. He just it is for people like us. I don't know what that means exactly. But
Yeah.
I'm whenever somebody says they don't like Kevin Smith, I'm like, I probably won't get along with you super well.
Here's the kid. Kevin Smith is an unapologetic nerd, and he's like a fanboy nerd. I mean, the dude loves everything.
Yeah.
He's the guy who gets up and when like a really terrible superhero movie comes out, he's like, dude, I loved it. I love these moments because it was like my childhood. I'm doing Seth
Yeah.
Rogen, not Kevin Smith.
It was pretty. They're pretty close actually. No.
And I know I said this before, but man, you and Rex, it's just Jay and Silent Bob.
I don't like thinking I'm Silent and Bob. I don't know.
You are Silent Bob.
Oh, no.
Come on, let's be real.
I know.
If one of you is gonna say Snoochie Booches, which one is it? It's not you.
It's not me. Oh my gosh.
I love too that this seems like a victory lap for Kevin Smith,
Yeah.
like because it's I think it's his fifth movie, fourth or fifth. Yeah,
I
because it came
thought-
after he did Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, this,
Yes.
and they're all referenced.
Yeah.
A bunch of the characters show up. Like Jason Lee plays his character from both Chasing Amy and Mallrats.
Yeah.
If you stay after the credits, Alanis Morissette's God shows up from Dogma.
Oh God.
And it's all wrapped around all of this like crazy adventure. And essentially the whole plot is just Jay and Silent Bob want to stop a movie about them from being made because they're getting hate comments on the internet.
Yeah, that's it. It's so great because this movie is like a fan film made by the guy who made the original movie, and that is what's so great about it. It's just a fun time.
Yeah, and it doesn't take itself seriously at all. Like, no. I mean, if you're going into this, but at the same time, it has some really profound moments, which it was like,
which just seems to happen in his movies.
Yeah. Fun fact: Kevin Smith was not an actual stoner when he made this movie. He didn't actually start becoming. Right. He wasn't a stoner until he made Zack and Miri with Seth Rogen, which was like 7 years after this. So he made a lot of stoner movies without being a stoner, which is kind of impressive. And then this one is fun because his entire family's in it. His wife plays one of the thieves, and his daughter, as a baby, plays young Silent Bob.
Oh my gosh. Oh, his daughter, who, when she's on screen with Johnny Depp's daughter, is a way better actor than Johnny Depp's daughter. I'm really sorry. That's in a different movie, but
his daughter's name too is Harley Quinn Smith, which is like,
it's really good.
First off, that's a nerd. Two, if I tried to convince my wife to name our kid after a comic book supervillain, it would never go.
And one that wasn't super popular yet, like somewhat.
And it's cool too because in when they're doing the scene where they're shooting the movie at the end, the guy who does the clapboard, that's Paul Dini. He created Harley Quinn.
Oh my!
He's the writer of the animated series. He made that character.
I really need to go through the IMDb list for this movie and see who's all in it, because I'm sure it's huge.
Carlin's in it. Chris Rock, Carrie Fisher. Imagine that you're making this movie and you go, I'm gonna call Mark Hamill and see if he'll do this.
He'll do this.
And come in as a guy called the Cockknocker.
Oh man, it makes me respect Mark Hamill that much more. You know what?
I think Mark Hamill's got a great sense of humor. I feel that dude will do anything.
He just
Ben Affleck plays 3 characters in this movie.
Yep.
When including the best Good Will Hunting 2.
Oh my god.
Good Will Hunting 2 hunting season, which they managed to get all of like half the original main characters from Good Will Hunting to reprise their roles for this terrible bit.
Oh god, it's insane. It's just really, you can get drunk or high during this movie and you'll just have a good.
You don't even need to be drunk or high. This is just funny.
I will say you should watch the other movies before this movie. That does make it a lot better.
If you watch, I would say if you're gonna watch Kevin Smith movies, watch them in order.
Yeah.
Up to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. After that, he goes on a whole different thing. I think the only other one that makes sense in the canon is Clerks 2, and then he does like a bunch of weird horror films, and he does a couple of really bad Hollywood movies. He plays a computer hacker in one of the Die Hards. But I will say that I love the way he uses hetero life mate to describe Jay and Bob's friendship. I'm like, that's the perfect, that's the phrase that I think every person's been looking for their best friend.
Yeah.
They're like attached to the hip too. And I love the orangutan because I always love orangutans.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm dying.
No, you die. It's fine.
It's okay. That's okay. I got like 5 minutes in me.
That's right. This also made me, as we were watching it, when Chris Rock came out, I was like, oh, that's right. He's making that Saw movie that's coming out this weekend.
Oh my gosh, I forgot.
I don't know why.
I got caught up?
I just watched all of them.
I know. And
I need to see this one. I need to see Spiral. No, so that's about it. They're all fun, except for Dazed and Confused, which is not our favorite, but some people might like it. I'm sure if anyone lived through the 70s, it has a different meaning for them.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Next time, in probably 2 weeks, is my birthday. And it's also our 1-year anniversary of doing this thing. Which is fun. Wow. Yeah, we started 2 days before my birthday.
I forgot, yeah.
Yeah, so it's our 1-year anniversary, and it's my birthday. So what we're gonna do is, if you watched the Nathan special, which I'll probably try to link at some point in this video, we basically, I picked 6 movies. Nathan has to watch them. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have a choice. I was nicer to him than he was to me. But
he tied me down. He's gonna and did the Did the
Clockwork Orange. That's actually super dangerous. Don't do that.
Don't nobody hit my eyes.
Like that was. They said that was more dangerous than any of the stunts they did in that movie.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. So I won't tell you what the movies are right now. You have to come back and see that. I picked categories of movies that I thought Nate would enjoy or hate. I don't know yet.
So I'm gonna hate all of them.
You're gonna hate all of them. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Nice. I love you, man.
Love you.
One.